Welcome to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Rodney Gittens, Reverend Rodney. So glad to have you here with us today. We have another wonderful session and wonderful opportunity to celebrate life, to celebrate the one life, the one love that we are. And as usual, we're going to start with our opening song. It really is all about being open at the top and open to all of the goodness that Spirit has in store. And we're going to start our conversation building an open and collaborative environment with our opening song, One Love.
Oh, 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 yeah. There's a place where love grows, where the spirit in you knows that you're welcome as you are, shining bright like every star. Come and learn, come and play in the sacred light of day. We're unfolding, growing free in the One Love family. One love, one life, one spirit divine, one heart, one life, your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Yeah. One love, one life, one life, one life, one spirit divine, yeah. One heart, one light, one life, one life, your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the sacred space, where we honor every face, the splendor of the God in you, shining through in all you do. Learning, growing, hand in hand, together we will understand. Prosperous, giving, hearts set free. One love is our destiny. One love, one light, one spirit divine, one heart, one life, your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Welcome home to one love, home to one love. Welcome home to one love, where love grows, yeah. To one love.
Yes, so wonderful it is to know that One Love is here and on the case. What a wonderful song, one of the wonderful versions of the song. And so before we go any further, would like to invite everyone to our mission. You know, who we are, what we're about. Our mission is to provide a stable and welcoming community for all who choose to learn, practice, grow, and play in the unfolding of their understanding of spiritual principles and spiritual living. Also, we have a vision. Our vision is to, hold on. Our, our vision is what we see. We envision a world as a sacred environment where spiritual living flourishes through the continual growth and development of learning and the application of the spiritual principles. Also, our community has been lovingly created as a place of fellowship, meditation, prayer, sacred healing service, musical celebrations, classes, workshops, spiritual film. So we practice compassion in service, love in action, and joyous, prosperous giving in the community. We'd like to welcome everyone, whether you've been with us before or this is your first time. And what we say, and we do this lovingly, and we do this with our wonderful heart space, open, wide energy, we recognize the splendor of the infinite divine spirit that is you. Please know that we support you in being the best you choose to be in this glorious life. And we thank you for celebrating Spirit with us today. Welcome to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to a place where love grows. Yes, so having taken care of that, we're now going to go even deeper and higher, higher and deeper within uh, with our opening prayer, our evocation, evoking the word of the divine from within. And with that, we invite practitioner Ellen Belinda Suazo.
Yay! Welcome, everybody. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. And allow yourself to just be present in this moment, to anchor yourself so you can be open to the infinite possibilities that divine has for you on this day and moving forward. And so we anchoring this service, this celebration with an evocation. So we invoking the spirit within and around us, so we can be present, so we can understand beyond human understanding. So we can get those aha and we can really find ways to choose greater, to be a greater emanation and manifestation of divine love as you. And so I know that there's only one power, one life, one mind, one presence that I call God, that I call universe, energy, whatever you call it, Allah. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you know that there's something moving you, something that is animating that body of yours. And as I recognize that there's only one mind, one body, I know that I am one as God. And when I say I am speaking about you as well. And I am knowing that this service, that this Sunday celebration is a is a manifestation of the divine mind speaking through Reverend Rodney and through each one of us to all of us, not just to Reverend Rodney, but to all of you that are listening, whether you're live or watching this recording later on. I am knowing that the service is flowing with ease and grace, and all that needs to be said is being said. All that needs to be understood is being understood, and a seed is planted or a plant is being watered. And so I am so grateful to know this true for each one of us. I am grateful for all the technology, for Lida in the background that is making sure that everything works and moves smoothly. And so we anchor this service, this Sunday celebration, knowing all is very well and very good. And so it is, and now it is. Ashe, amen.
Thank you so much. That's Ellen Belinda, uh, our first practitioner here at One Love Center, and we have Lida Perez behind the scenes.
Hey.
And yeah, so just how wonderful it is to know that we are operating, wonderfully. And so our theme for the whole month has been the fear and the furious, obviously a take on the movies, Fast and the Furious. And so we're talking about building an open and collaborative environment. Now, this happens first and foremost, we have to do that within ourselves, to be open and be available to collaborate. We are creating that environment in our world. Our world is the world which everyone shares in my own perception of my world and how everyone contributes or participates in that world. I'd like to think that everybody has the same mindset of like, hey, share with my world. Let's intersect our worlds and create something wonderful. And however, many times and most times, folks have their own agenda, and that is individually. Um, we want all our needs met, and how can we get to do that in a positive and uplifting way? And I'm talking about we want to have shelter, food, clothing, whatever it is that is necessary for us to enjoy life and to live life. I mean, I'm not even mentioning fully. I'm just saying, hey, we want our basic needs met. And it, whether people realize it or not, or recognize it or not, we are doing it pretty much all the time. You go to the store and you use wherever you got your money from, or whatever means you have to purchase or barter or exchange for food that you didn't grow. You're looking at the clothing that you're wearing. There are some people who make all their clothing. However, are they making the threads? Are they making a needle? Are they using whatever comes from nature to create the clothing that they're wearing? Did they grow the plants? Did they make the plants? No. I mean, obviously. So we're looking at the smallest, most infinitesimal way that we are collaborating in our own world with ourselves and nature and all the other ways that people provide, for us. For me, I mean, if you think about the chair you're sitting in, did you make your chair? You know, so there's collaboration going on, and the other part of that is the gratitude. It's much easier to build a collaborative environment when we're coming from a place of gratitude. And what we're grateful for, we get more of. We're actually building our environment. It's already created, and now we're building on it. And especially being open. And so the lesson is not just for us individually, because there was a song many years ago that said, "No man is an island, no man stands alone," and there's a whole lot more lyrics to it. However, the most important aspect of it is that we're not alone. No person is alone. It really is about how do we get to stay open with others, building through that fear, because that fear can just shut so much stuff down and create what happens in the world, like war. People are afraid somebody's going to take something from me or hurt me, and so we're operating from a place of fear and anger and want, and in the exclusion, at the expense of others. So we do have a quote, and let's go into that first quote. And it says, "Peace, love, and happiness begin within ourselves. The suffering we see out in the world is reflected in the suffering, fear, and anger inside." So what I'm saying is just that. It's that whatever going on the outside with our own agenda, on the inside with our own agenda, is showing up on the outside. And so when we take care of ourselves, we are taking the first step toward taking care of the world. That's by Thich Nhat Hanh. Good Citizens, Creating Enlightened Society, page 27. So, yeah, if you're not liking what you see on the outside, let's check it on the inside. Let's see what's showing up for us. What's showing up for you that is reflecting back to you. Okay, so not everybody's going to see the same thing and feel the same way and react the same way or respond the same way to what they see, to what we see. Okay, and if we're not seeing peace and love and happiness and joy and friendship and support on the outside, then we have to look within. Now, of course, it does help to look within first, but usually we don't have a reason to, unless we're finding some complaint, unless we're finding that we're angry all the time, because anger is just not being in control of whatever's going on the outside, and sometimes on the inside. Usually we need a clue. If we're clueless to what's going on the inside, it's going to show up on the outside. So either way, we're going to get that reflection of how life is being for us individually and therefore collectively, because we get to be a mirror. We get to be in that reflection. And now I'm not saying that we're being responsible for the wars that are going on or conflict in the neighborhood, or maybe even in the old same household. However, we do play a part. And so let's go on to the next quote. It says, "Fear is a belief in the absence of love," by Marianne Williamson, "A Return to Love, Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles," page 34. Now, you can certainly see that how war, that kind of conflict that's going on in other countries by the world leaders, the leaders of these countries, how could there be war, if they're being loved? Well, perhaps they're not being loved. You're not being loved and loving, lovable. And so they're fearful of what somebody else might do or has done. And they're fearful of whatever's next instead of breaking that cycle. It's recognizing the divine presence in one another. I see you and I recognize it for myself. Yes, that is love. That person is love. I see the divine in you. When we can say that to one another on whatever scale, national scale, global scale, that's a conversation that probably has to happen when people enter the room, whether it's the United Nations or whatever kind of meeting they're having. That needs to be, they shake hands and then they start talking about whatever they're going to talk about. It's always an invitation to trust this life, this inner life, this love, okay, which really is really what it's all about. Finding ways to create peace. We don't have to create peace. Peace exists. We spend a lot of time creating war, creating disagreements, finding ways to not agree. So anyway, I don't want to get too much into that. But it is a process to be able to listen with the ears, using a heart as a filter. So we have another quote. It says, "I'm available to do what wants to evolve and emerge through me, and I'm willing to practice and embody what that takes for it to do so." That's from Michael Bernard Beckwith, Dr. Michael Beckwith, page 74, Life Visioning, a Transformative Process. Can you imagine, and would you imagine with me, that these world leaders or leaders of corporations or leaders in school or leaders wherever they are, they come together and the second thing they say, besides, namaste, I recognize the divine in you, they say, hey, I'm available to what wants to evolve and emerge through me, willing to do and practice and embody what it takes for it to do so, for us to get along, for us to be in agreement, to be in alignment, for a greater good. It's not just for us. We're just representatives, of the whole, of the greater organization, what the organization stands for, what the nation stands for. That's what we're representing. That's who it's all for. Not, perhaps one way of looking at it would be petty differences, perhaps selfish differences. And if everybody's coming from a selfish point of view, then it's going to take quite a while to have our universal, our global, our national, our organizational wants and desires met in harmonious ways. And so fear is usually what steps in. Fear is, one of the acronyms many of us use is false events appearing real. Like, I really get that there are people who, maybe they're just operating from their nightmares, their worst dreams, their worst ideas, their fears, based on really wanting to protect themselves. Their ego run wild. And it says, no, I can't take a chance. I'm feeling vulnerable. I don't want to feel vulnerable. I want to protect myself. And ego and fear, are one of the many ways in which people do that. Some of the main ways in which people seek to protect themselves. And it usually turns into harming themselves first, and therefore they feel harmed, and then they want to harm somebody else to keep them from harming that harm, doing that circle, that flow, unfortunately. And it's all false beliefs until it becomes actual physical reality, which is still, it can be stopped at any time by recognizing the divinity in and as each one. Let's go to another quote. It says, one of the greatest stumbling blocks in anyone's spiritual advancement is dishonesty, the refusal to honestly face an idea if that idea happens not to please them. Our cry is, I do not like to believe that. Back of this is the fear that an idea may be forced into our consciousness, which will uncover us to our own responsibility. Ernest Holmes, It's Up to You, page 27. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, Science of Mind and Spirit. And that's pretty much, that kind of sums it up almost. Dishonesty, not facing it. I know in the world of sobriety and recovery, there's a word called denial. And it stands for don't even know I am lying. It's like, I don't want to face it. I don't want to look at it. I'm going to ignore it. It's like how kids go, la, 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 I don't want to hear it. And don't want to believe it out of fear that is going to create some kind of harm. And, you can think for yourself, or remember for yourself, or that maybe that you had that experience for yourself, or you witnessed somebody else acting that way, reacting that way, or even responding that way. And yet, that they know, for the most part, that they're being dishonest. Okay? And it's up to us to break through that denial, to break through that opportunity that we give ourselves to not listen to the truth because of fear, because of doubt, because of worry about, and which all boils down to not trusting the higher truth, capital T truth, that says, yeah, all is well, unfolding as it should. All is well, regardless of what I think, because so many times our thinking has been filtered, has been colorized with, the anger, with the hurt, with the pain, with misunderstandings. And it's something that takes practice. And that's why we are here. We are practitioners, spiritual practitioners, life coaches, however you want to put it. This is why we're here. We're here to help people get to the truth, which is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That there is a power that is available for each and every one of us, upon which we can stand and build our foundation of trust and truth and love and peace and joy and happiness and all of the good that we desire. We build on that foundation of knowing that all is well because it's all God. Or whatever word you choose to use, as you heard in the opening prayer, it doesn't matter what word there is for a supreme being, for the consciousness that is shared by all. That, yes, it's loving, it's supportive. We don't make the oxygen that we breathe. We don't make the water that we drink. There is that which we may easily call the creator that creates everything necessary for us. not just our survival, but for our thriving. I firmly believe that we're not just here just to be here, like a bump on the log. We're not here to hurt one another. We're here to support one another, to live to our best life possible. We just can't do it alone. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't make the couch that I'm sitting on or the chair. Didn't make the clothing. I didn't grow some food in the backyard. However, for the most part, uh, this is all done in collaboration. Even countries who grow food and ship it to another country, um, all of that is collaboration. And how can we do that in the name of love? It's a spiritual practice. It's a sacred art of sharing. One country grows one food, and another country grows something else for food, and we figure out how to work together so that we all get to participate in sharing and enjoying and benefiting from this food, whether it's plants or animals, if people eat animals, or fish or whatever. All of that comes together, and without trying to devalue another, without trying to get over on another. It means that, hey, wait a minute, why do we have to argue, fuss, and fight? Let's take a pause. Let's take a breath. And how can we create an environment where everyone is supported, where who we are and what we do is valued? Recognizing the divine is expressing in, through, and as each of us equally. And so that's where that belief comes in, believing and knowing that, yeah, the Creator made each and every one of us, endowed us with all that is necessary to assist each other in our ascension, in our enlightenment, in our being happy, healthy, free. So let's go on to the next quote. It says, there is no problem that doesn't have some underlying need for more optimism, stamina, resilience, and collaboration, by Jane McGonigal, American author and researcher. And look again in your own life. When situations come up, are we looking for just a way out or a way in, or trying to make blame for the way things are showing up or not showing up? However, this quote says there is no problem that doesn't have some underlying need to be more optimistic, to know and to have that faith and trust that regardless of what is showing up, we can get through it. We can collaborate. We can find a way to work together in which it's a win-win. We need to be resilient. That means don't just give up when it seems like, well, you don't agree, I don't agree, that's it. What are we going to do? Bomb each other? Well, yeah, that does happen, unfortunately. But it takes the stamina and resilience of spirit, because spirit is the clearing ground. We get to release all of our anger and spite and differences, and look at how we get to live together and be successful together and collaborate in ways that honor each other. We honor ourselves and we honor each other, because if we're not honoring another, we're not really honoring ourselves. And that's the bottom line. That's what collaboration is working together, respecting ourselves and all other ones of the one. How I like to say it, because we're all of the one. We are all one, and we are all of the one. We have another quote. It says, I've learned that whenever I decide something with an open heart, I usually make the right decision. Maya Angelou. Think about that for yourself. When There is struggle and strife and stress. When we take that sacred pause, and that's like opening up our mind and certainly opening up our heart, and then make that decision, it usually works out a whole lot better than when we're angry and we're clenched and we're tight and closed minded. Yeah. So when I decide, and that decide is means killing off, when I'm killing off the idea that I have to be closed and be against something, yeah. When I get rid of that idea and open the heart to make a decision, killing off what doesn't work, killing off what is not loving. Yeah, I don't mean physically killing something. I mean changing my mind, changing my thought, changing my belief, and knowing that there is something better with an open heart. Things work out better than I could ever even imagine. I'm experiencing that even now. You know, working a job that is not fulfilling on any level, actually. Yeah, I'm making money. Yeah, yes, I'm being who I am in the world. Um, and I know that yet there's more for me. And in a moment of me working and feeling unsatisfied, I just had to stop. And in that moment, I said, you know what? I'm grateful for who I am and where I am and what I'm doing and how I'm being of service. And I know that there is something better for me now. And as soon as I finished that prayer, that thought, and it is a prayer, thoughts are things, and you probably would be surprised how often your thoughts are prayers. It's, that gets you thinking about, wait a minute, what am I thinking? And so as soon as I had that prayer thought, knowing the highest and the best for myself, an idea came, and I looked online and found greater support for that idea. Found that, hey, this is where I can use my talents and abilities, skills and education, knowledge and wisdom for something different, something more in alignment for who I am. I'm not going to say better, because there are people who are doing that other job that I'm doing, and that's great for them. However, I know there's something greater for me. And when we are able to be that for ourselves, to be better expressions of the divine, of the one for ourselves, that's how it starts to show up in the world. And it might seem very daunting. It might seem impossible. Like, how can I, my reflection, make a difference in the world, being the best that I can be? And many times you've heard reach one, teach one. Just the difference that I make for myself, in myself, can affect one person, who can affect another person, who can infect another one with this same expression of love and joy and inner knowing and awareness of being the best that we can be. I don't know if we have another quote. Let's see if we do. Well, this seems rather appropriate. It says, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood," by Stephen Covey. When we are seeking to collaborate, when we are seeking to invite people into being the best that they can be, that we are building an open, loving environment. Are we coming with our agenda? Are we not being open to listening with another, speaking with another? And so I first heard a quote like this: "It's better to understand than to be understood." And that means be a listener. Listen with your ears, with your mind, listen with your heart to understand. And that's a very powerful word that, again, I think many people don't realize the strength of that word. Understand is not just a mental listening and, okay, I heard what you said, and intellectually I get what you mean. Understand is deeper than that. It's stronger than that. Understand means not just stand under, it means to stand by another, to stand with another. I understand you, meaning I feel it too. There was a book, I think it was called Stranger in a Strange Land. It was a science fiction book. I don't remember the author, but he was a famous science fiction author. And he used a word grok, GROK, which I think finally made it into our dictionaries. And it means to understand on such a level that it's that what you think, say, and do, I understand it, meaning it's in the very fiber of my being. That's how deeply I understand it. So much so that, and like what we like to teach, that we can't tell where you end and I begin. We are one. And that is what it means to seek first to understand. And when we do that, it's so much better to be understood because we're operating from that level of oneness. We're operating in that understanding of oneness. This is who we are. This is how we work. This is how we live. This is how we play. This is how we be. And that's the important thing to recognize when we're building an environment of collaboration, when we are being open at the top. And we've been open at the top all year, meaning that we are allowing this expression of love and peace and joy and happiness and even forgiveness, and which is a whole nother talk. Because in reality, is there anything to forgive? Maybe there's a missed understanding. I missed it because I was trying so hard to be understood. So I had to forgive myself for trying so hard to be understood that I didn't understand what you were saying. And here is an awesome quote to really bring home what I've just been sharing. Acknowledging our weakness can soften our defenses. Ram Dass, How Can I Give? A very important book for anyone in the helping field. Acknowledging our weakness. Okay. We have to, first of all, admit that we could possibly have a weakness. Most people don't want to admit they have a weakness. And what happens when we admit that we have a weakness? Many people want to be more defensive. Isn't that something? But when we acknowledge that, hey, I don't know everything. I can't seem to do everything. Imagine that. However, in doing so, all of a sudden there's nothing to defend. Because guess what? It's normal. It's part of our human experience. Yes, we are whole, perfect, and complete on the spiritual level and what's not spiritual. Even our bodies, even though they are limited fabrications of energy, they have a limited lifetime in this form. However, so does everyone else. What's to defend? We're operating with a brain, and sometimes many of us depend only on the brain and not trusting that inner knowing, that inner awareness that says, hey, maybe that particular job is not the best thing for me. Perhaps I'm suited to do something else that I can do even better because I'm infusing my love and my skills and my education and the experience, all of that there might be something better suited for me. And so therefore, whatever weaknesses I had in this previous employment or current employment, wait a minute. Let me recognize that and not be defensive. Usually, if I'm not being defensive, I can even do a better job than if I'm being defensive and closed and maybe even antagonistic, maybe even beset by worry and fear and doubt and have that be a wall of defensiveness. because I don't want people to look in and see what they can already see, you know, because it's being reflected on the outside through those barriers, through those walls of fear and doubt and worry and hate and anger and all of that and misunderstanding. People see it anyway. Folks, people see it anyway. As much as you try to hide it, it's there. And it's evident because it's obvious you're trying to hide it. And so this is some of the things that we learn in this teaching, in this philosophy of science of mind and spirit. And you think science of mind, how the mind works. How does it work in religion? How does it work in our lives? How does it work in our everyday activities? So science means we explore it, we look at it, we look within and see how it works. It's not a lot to necessarily figure out or figure in. We allow ourselves to be open to the divine wisdom that is ever available. Yeah. We just take a moment and breathe that in. And yes, it's about more than we can share on a Sunday. It's more than you can get from little blurbs here and there. Now with so much content available, and we're going to be doing more content as well, of the spiritual nature, of course. Okay, and not so much as to overwhelm, and we can only give and get so much in quick bites. And so that's why there's an importance for classes, for workshops, things of that nature, where we can be open, and for some it might be, it might take a little more effort to open and be seemingly vulnerable, seemingly defensive or defenseless. And in doing so, we get to be able to receive, because when we're closed, we can't receive, and we're not really able to give anything worthwhile. So again, I don't know if we have another quote. Let's see if we do. If not, we're going to move into a contemplative question. We want to ask ourselves at all times, am I looking within? Am I trusting what I see? And if not, let me look in a little further. Let me connect with someone loving, someone kind, connect with a spiritual practitioner, licensed practitioner, which is what we are. And yes, I am a minister. However, I'm first and foremost, I'm a practitioner. We have practitioners. We have practitioners around the world. All right, this message is for you and perhaps for someone else. However, you must know that, this spiritual teaching, this philosophy is available to everyone. And it's primarily free. There are classes that come up and there's a fee for that. A lot of work goes into preparing these things and workshops and such. However, the cost is nothing compared to what we get to receive, to what we get to give as a result of that receiving, not just for ourselves. None of this is for ourselves. This is for each and every one. And so we're looking for the best ways to provide that for you, because you're the one that's hearing this right now. And maybe there's somebody that that you can pass this along to, that you can share this video with. Yes, it's about building an environment for collaboration. And and how do you know when another opportunity for that will arise? You can look at your personal life and I could use some more collaboration to accomplish my goal and my personal mission, to have my vision become reality in this form. Yeah, you can get all of that from this and more. And you can look at our previous videos as well on YouTube or in Facebook. And that's what it's about. It's about being honest and knowing what's available for each and every one of us, collaborating an atmosphere of open and loving an environment. All of this as a sacred practice. And so we move through these uncertainties. And remember that our differences don't necessarily define us and keep us separate and apart from one another. We can look at each other's differences as ways in which you get to provide what you do, what you know, about being about who you are, and each one gets to bring something from those differences. And that's the collaboration. That's being open to creating that environment where if we're all the same, we all have the same abilities, the same skills, you know, like we say, variety is the spice of life. Let's not turn away from the diversity, from the differences. Let's use them in a collaborative way in order to empower each other, to empower ourselves. Yes, does that make sense? It must make sense because that's how it is already. But we do it as a practice. We do it with as a conscious awareness. This is our practice to strengthen even higher level who it is, who we are being, to create a greater sense of unity, allowing that to emerge, allowing the spirit to work in and through us individually and collectively. And that is a divine collaboration. That is being open at the top for the greater good to be revealed. And so I am knowing that right here and right now, that every opportunity with our breath, with our divine awareness, we can move into our affirmations. So let's do our affirmations right now. When we are bringing and making it firm, we are allowing ourselves to be more aware. Oh, well, there is a contemplative question. It says, how can we stay open to others while navigating fear and conflict? And so I want to bring that up as something like, I'm not going to call it homework. Let's call it inner work. Okay. Your spiritual home, your spiritual temple. You know, how can you stay open to others in the midst of fear and conflict? You know, what kind of mindset is necessary to stay open, to go through it, to be able to collaborate and dissolve the fear, dissolve the conflict? So you can take this question, you can return to it, you can type into Facebook or YouTube and entertain the question. There doesn't have to be one answer or a definitive answer, but what does it mean for you? What does it feel for you to stay open instead of being defensive? And that's how those wars begin and escalate, because they're not willing to navigate through fear and conflict, through it, you know, not under it, not around it, or not have it grow because they're not trusting and being faithful that there's a better way. So with that, let's go into our affirmations. Here's how we like to do it. I invite each one to take a breath before each affirmation. We're going to do each one twice. And so take a breath and give a breath. Release the breath and recite the affirmation. It is so that I open my heart to growth through connection. Let's take a breath and give a breath. It is so that I open my heart to growth through connection. And the next one. Breathe in and out. It is so that I meet fear and discomfort with an open heart, allowing curiosity, compassion, and courage to guide me. Just breathe in and out again. It is so that I meet fear and discomfort with an open heart, allowing curiosity, compassion, and courage to guide me. And we have another affirmation. It is so that my openness, courage, and compassion help create communities where everyone is seen, heard, valued, and empowered to belong. Let's breathe in on this and release. It is so that my openness, courage, and compassion help create communities where everyone is heard, is seen, heard, valued, and empowered to belong. This is the truth. And so it is, and now it is. Thank you, beloveds. Thank you so much for joining me in this wonderful talk. And now it's time for a grounding prayer. That this prayer is to bring it home. It's kind of a summary prayer. However, it's a treatment. We're treating our minds, opening even more our minds, our hearts, opening our thoughts to know that what we experience, not just the words I say, I shared, or that power of spirit within me has shared, but how it feels and how it lives in you. And so with me, please know that there is only one life. That life is God's life, the life of the Creator, the life of that infinite indwelling presence, that spirit, whatever name you choose to use for it. I mean, I know some people that just give it a name like Gary or Bill or Joe. Whatever it is, doesn't matter, by whatever name, knowing that there's only one, and there is only one of us. It's us ones of the one. And so with this awareness, with this recognition, I am knowing that each one is united by the very presence of the indwelling spirit. Yes, it is individualized as each and every one. However, we're all one. As individualized expressions of the one. And so I am knowing that for that very reason, there is a realization that says yes. There is every reason to collaborate. Why? Because we're all one. We can't really help but collaborate. The idea is to do it consciously, to do it with a high reason of being, a high reason for saying yes to life, to saying yes to supporting life, for putting aside fear and anger and doubt and worry and shame and guilt and all of those thoughts that drag us down and build walls between collaboration. We're tearing down those walls and using love to melt it all away, using faith and trust to say, yes, I am from the inside out building an environment for collaboration with myself, with my family, with my neighbors, with everywhere I am and everywhere I go. That I am open to understanding, which creates an environment for each one to be understood. I am knowing this shows up in our relationships. It shows up in every aspect of our life, in our environment, in our world, that has everything to do with being the best we could choose to be in this glorious life. Spiritual living through spiritual education, spiritual wisdom, that knowledge that leads to wisdom, that leads to the best life possible. It shows up for our finances, for our health, for every way of our being, that there is a greater understanding to build upon, for the collaboration to happen, that we get to give and give to get. And so I am grateful to know that this happens on a deep and loving way, that each one gets to say yes to the greater good, that each one gets to say yes to all that makes life worth living. And I give thanks knowing that this is already happening right now, that each one is being touched from the inside out by that indwelling spirit that works its way through the filters that have been accumulated, allowing each one to say a greater and higher yes to that love which collaborates with the love that each one is. So for this and so much more, I know this word spoken into law of divine right action is already happening. The law knows what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and is doing it even now, has been doing it even before these words are spoken. Because there is only one divine knower, and that knower already knows what's in our hearts and our minds and our soul. And so I know that the law of divine right action is already making it so, already happening. I give thanks for that, knowing that it is the truth right here, right now. And I affirm it and invite each one, wherever you are, however you are, to join me in saying amen and ashe. And so it is. And now it is. Peace and blessings, beloved. Thank you. We now have Ellen Suazo to make mention of the power of prayer and the power of giving.
Yeah, thank you so much, Reverend Rodney, for that message. And so what you just heard, that was a treatment. That's a 5-step treatment. And we like you to know, especially if you're new, here at One Love Center, we have prayer professionals ready and willing and able to remind you that the Spirit is the power, charge, and always and already within you for immediate use. So please request your prayer support can be sent at our email, onelove@onelovecenter.org, or we invite you to send us a voice message at 646-685-3344. You can also go to call the Centers for Spiritual Living World Ministry of Prayer. Their email address is oneprayer@csl.org, or you can give them a call at 424-235-4326. Please know that all your prayers are strictly confidential. We keep praying for you for 7 days. And after that, we believe that your prayer has been answered. If it hasn't, please connect back with us and we'll continue to pray for that situation so it can change. Let's see. Now, we like to, with that in mind, we like to say thank you for your generosity, for all of you that you have been supporting One Love Center since its inception in 2011, I believe. And so you have been supporting One Love Center with your prayers, with your talents, with your skills, with your time, with your money. So we thank you from the bottom of our heart. Because of you, we have a ministry and we still here. And so please send your donations at our what is it called? At our I went blank. Cash Me App. Use Cash Me App, and that sign is $One Love CSL, or go to PayPal and send your donations to One Love. One Love at onelovedark.org. Okay, go to PayPal and send your money through PayPal to us using our email address. And if not, just use the Cash Me App or send it by mail as well. You can do that. please, we ask you to give from a place of joy, from a place of abundance. And when you do that, money flows and everything flows in your life with much ease. So now I invite you to do an affirmation of abundance and put your hands in your heart and say, money, as one of the many gifts of spirit, is good. As I share my offerings, I know that I am actively creating a space to create more gifts, more money, and more good. I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good works that this gift do in our center and in our world. And now it is, and so it is, Ashe. Thank you so much for your giving and for your sharing. And the announcements, we have been reading this book. The book of the month is Dare to Lead. And if you have not gotten that book, you can go on Amazon. I believe it's on Amazon. So go and get that book. It's an amazing book by Brain Brown.
Wonderful, Ellen. Thank you so much. So glad that you are here. I just want to take a moment and thank Reverend Hadra for joining us today. And we also, of course, have Lita Perez, who is working behind the scenes. And I apologize if I can't see anybody else. Sometimes it's not that easy to tell. However, thank you all who are watching and listening and actually sharing this. Please share it with anybody in your network and in Facebook or YouTube or wherever else you can send these through. So we really appreciate your time, and we don't have any other announcements right now, except stay tuned because we know that change is inevitable, and change is for good, for the greater good. So we certainly know that you'll be a part of that change, and many of you will be reaching out to further explore what that looks like for one and for all, because all are one. How does that quote go? All for one and one for all. Yes. And yeah, so we're going to close up today's session, of course, with prayer as we usually do, and a song, and then we'll come back and say, see you later. All right. Ellen is going to start the prayer and maybe finish it too.
Okay, so let's take a deep breath and fill our hearts with gratitude for this time that we have been sharing, for this time that we have come together. And that is whether you are here live or you are listening to this conversation, to this celebration later on the recording. So I invite you to just fill your heart with gratitude. Gratitude for life, gratitude for health, gratitude for, just think about all the ways that you are grateful for. You know, gratitude is the highest vibration that can melt anything and everything that you might be going through, because there's always something to be grateful for. Always, always, no matter what is happening in your life, that I know. And so in that space of gratitude, I give thanks, knowing that this celebration has done its work, knowing that this ministry is doing its work. I am so grateful, so grateful for all that has transpired throughout this service, for all the seeds that have been planted, for all the plants that have been watered, for all the minds that have been refreshed, from all the hearts that have been renewed. I am so grateful for that. I am very, very grateful, knowing that this is just the beginning of this day, and it continues throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the new months. And as we move forward, always contemplating, always looking within, knowing that divine love is always there, always. There's not a time that divine love is not around us, it's not within us. Just reach out and it is ours to remember that it is so. And so I am knowing that this that you are being blessed, your family are being blessed, and that all your good is expanding, your possibilities of life is expanding, and you are continually growing in whichever way you are choosing to do so. And so I pass.
And knowing that the truth is spoken from the heart, from the open mind. Thank you, thank you. I give so thanks to being in this number, the number of one, the number of all those, of everyone who is of the one, and that is everyone. And knowing that, yes, there is that which has spoken to each one from this wonderful opportunity to share a spiritual message, a spiritual knowing, the spiritual wisdom. And I give thanks knowing that, yes, lives are changed for the better. All it takes is one word, one thought, one idea, one possibility, one opportunity to collaborate in loving, caring ways. And as each one goes throughout the week, knowing that there is a conscious effort for building an environment for collaboration out of love and faith and trust and the truth, that it does make a difference in a powerful way, a difference that invites each one to value their own beingness and each and every other one's beingness. So I give thanks for this. I give thanks for Belinda and Lita Perez and Reverend Hodger and all those who have ever contributed to what One Love Center has been and what it does and what it shall be. So for this and so much more, I give thanks knowing that the word is being spread even now for this greater good, for the pathways and the pathways of love are always open. I give thanks for knowing that this is the truth, spoken into the law. It must be so. I give thanks and gratitude knowing it is so. And please affirm with me by saying, and so it is, and now it is.
So it is.
All right. We got a couple of songs. Can't help it. We got to do it. And here we go. Here's the first one.
I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday and mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy and happiness is yours and it's mine. I am loved and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? Let me hear you sing, all is well, all is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well, all is well, all is well, and unfolding as it should. I am cloaked in the Spirit, I am fed by the divine. I am one with all that is, my soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know all is well? Don't it feel good? All is well. Just to know that my soul is free from time. All I got to do is change my mind. I'm free. All is well. Don't it feel good? All is well. And unfolding
revelation. Joy is sacred celebration. We give thanks for all we are. Every soul has come so far. Love in action, service true. The divine spirit that is you. We're awakening, can't you see? Living love and living free. One love, one life, one spirit divine. One heart, one life. Your journey and mine. Where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to this sacred space where we honor every face. The splendor of the God in you, shining through in all you do. Learning, growing hand in hand. Together we will understand. Prosperous, giving, hearts set free. One love is our destiny. One love, one life, one spirit divine. One heart, one life. Your journey and mine. Where compassion flows and grace abounds. Oh, one love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. One love, where love grows all around. One love, where love grows all around. Welcome home to one love. Yeah. Welcome home to one love. Where love grows. Where love grows. Where love grows.
Yes. So, one love. We'll see you again. Hey. Hi. All right. Thanks for joining. We'll do it again real soon. Peace and blessings, and stay tuned for the wonderful changes that are occurring. Peace and blessings.